Are you excited about another episode of The Real Deal? If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Morby, and The Real Deal is a series where we walk you through our most recent transactions that we purchased utilizing creative finance. This is 9340 Des Moines in Mesa, Arizona. Let's get it. So when I first started learning creative finance, wholesale, real estate investing as a whole, I always wanted to know one question. Where did these leads come from? Obviously, we're at point Z right now, but how did we get to point A? How did this whole relationship start? Well, it started with a conversation with the seller. Now, did we door knock? Did we send them a mailer? Did we send them a carrier pigeon? No, guys, we sent them a text message. And we utilized a tool in a company called BatchLeads.io. I'm gonna give you guys two links down below. First link is a video explaining exactly how you can use batch leads to get in front of motivated sellers. And then the second link is a discount for you guys to at least try it out, because we use it so much. You'll hear it over and over and over in a lot of my Real Deal episodes, and also the episodes on YouTube that my partner Cody is also doing to help you guys get into real estate. When we first sent out a message to Carol and Larry, we sent out a text message that said, hey, we're real estate investors. Would you consider a cash offer on your home? Carol and Larry both came back and said, we've been dealing with investors for the last year and a half and they've all screwed us over. F you, F off. So we ultimately got on the phone with them back in March and we got an understanding of what they were trying to accomplish. Carol and Larry were trying to sell their house for the last year and a half. They had been under contract with real estate agents, they had been under contract with real estate investors, wholesalers specifically, and 15 times they were canceled on. They were sick of the text messages. But my team, knowing that this seller had interest in selling their property, continued to follow up for nearly 7 months. When we first reached out to Carol and Larry back in March, they indicated they wanted to sell their property in order to move to Indiana to be with their son. Their son is a doctor. He has a nanny who watches his children while he works and builds his practice. And they were paying that nanny $36,000 a year. So Carol, who had recently retired from being a school teacher, said, man, I would love to be out there and watch my grandkids for my son, but I need to sell my house first. For a year and a half, they tried to sell this house. A year and a half, they tried to sell this house. Why couldn't they? What was the problem? Well, two things. Number one, they had no equity. Absolutely zero equity. In fact, they owed a little bit more money on the property to the mortgage company than what the house was actually worth. Then they also had, number two, the number two reason why is because they had a renovation that needed to be done. So real estate agents listed the property, wholesalers came and contracted them 15 times. They were told nobody could solve their problem. So what we did is we told them, hey, we have other solutions. We have other ways to solve your problem. One of them being subject to. The seller said, I don't believe anybody. All these investors, all you guys are cracker jacks, blah, 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 blah. And so my team, feeling very deflated, put this in the follow-up bucket. Shout out to Cameron on my team who continually followed up with the seller for 7 months. Literally 30 times he followed up with the seller and just said, we're here. We have solutions. We are here. We have solutions. 30 times until Carol finally said, fine, let me hear what you have to offer. So after 7 months of follow-up, Cameron set an appointment for me to come and stand right here with Carol, the owner of this property. Carol, in tears, told me her whole story about how she had retired to go move to Indiana to take care of her grandkids for her son. But because of the lack of equity and the renovation that this property needed at the time, nobody could help her. Wow. That was an opportunity for me, somebody who understands subject to and creative finance at a very high level, knowing that if I could just simply take over her mortgage, give her the cash that she needed to move to Indiana, I could solve every problem that she had. What we ultimately did is I explained to her subject to right here in the living room, literally standing and sitting right here. Carol and Larry allowed me to record that conversation. If you're one of my students in the Subto family, you've already heard the recording that I recorded on my iPhone right here in this living room. So if you're new to the Subto family, make sure you go to the Facebook group and you get that link because it is an amazing recording. It allows you to see exactly how I explain subject to the seller. I overcome every single objection that they had, and we move forward with the transaction that day, signing the contract right here. So we ended up contracting with Carol and Larry, ultimately opening escrow with Title Alliance of Phoenix, the company that we use to handle all of our transactions here locally in Arizona. We also used Rochelle Jarvis, the owner of Constant Close, to handle the transaction. Guys, I'm too busy buying deals, managing companies, building companies, hiring, firing, all those kind of things to worry about paperwork, close of escrow, and all that stuff. Title Alliance and Rochelle Jarvis handled everything all the way through. Ultimately, what happened is we opened escrow and we found out in 24 hours through the prelim that there was an IRS lien on this property. The seller, oh my gosh, starts crying. Carol calls me to her property. I end up meeting her back in the living room all over again, her explaining to me that they thought the IRS lien had fallen off months before. Very long story short, again, if you are a Subto family member, you've heard this story. I've recorded the call with the IRS, I've shared it with the students, and ultimately I got on the phone with the IRS and they explained the fact that this seller has zero equity. And the chances of the IRS getting access to their money was zero. So we ultimately, through 3 days of phone calls with the IRS, talked them down from a $30,000 lien to a $1,700 settlement. What was amazing about that wasn't just negotiating with the IRS. That was cool in and of itself. But I was giving the seller a chunk of cash in this transaction, which we'll talk about later in this video. The seller was going to have to use all of that cash to pay off the IRS and ultimately have no money to move to Indiana. So I wasn't going to let that happen. We did not give up on this seller. We helped them through the IRS lien. Now, one of my favorite testimonials that we've ever gotten from our sellers was this seller's testimonial. They talked about in the title company, as we were closing escrow, how much we helped them and that we never gave up on them all the way through the transaction. In fact, the seller, when I asked her what was the number one thing she would advise to wholesalers and real estate investors all over the country, and her answer was, learn subject to. It was only because of subject to that we were able to buy this property and help Carol and Larry out along the way. So a lot of real estate investors that are watching this video are going to be asking, why? Why did you guys buy a house that has no equity? And how much money did you give the seller? Well, the reason we bought this house with no equity is because this house cash flows like crazy. This seller has a mortgage on the property that they paid $930 a month, but we can rent this out for $2,200 per month. So if I'm allowed to take the house over subject to, simply make the payments on the seller's behalf, and rent this out to a tenant for $2,200 a month, after all my vacancy, repairs, any lender that I might have raised private capital from, maybe a credit card I use for the renovation, whatever it is that I use, there is so much cash flow on this property that $1,400 covers all our expenses. So at the end of the day, we net around $750 a month. That's after vacancy, after repairs, after private lenders, after HOA, after everything you can tally up. We still net $750 a month on this house. So when people ask, why did you buy it subject to? Why did you pay full retail? Well, guys, here's my personal opinion. Equity comes and goes. The one thing that I can count on is cash flow. I can count on this rental market in Phoenix, Arizona to stay strong as it has been for the last 50 years. If you're buying deals based solely on equity, you're going to lose in the short term, because in 2020, we've had a pretty strong run in real estate. We've had 12 straight years of upward growth. Now, what happens in 2021 when the equity drops on this property? Well, doesn't really hurt me that much, because like I said, equity comes and goes, and my cash flow will stay consistent in an up and a down market. So if you know anything about me, I love breaking things down so long-windedly, but it doesn't really fit with YouTube. People don't want to watch an hour-and-a-half long video. So if you're a Subto family member, you've probably already seen the whiteboard breakdown of purchase price, acquisition costs, ARV, how much cash we gave the seller, all of that stuff, because I spent a lot of time in the Subto private Facebook group breaking down deals like this on a whiteboard. If you haven't seen that video yet, go into the private Subto Facebook group and ask Reagan Phillips, our community manager, to point you in the direction of the Des Moines whiteboard video. So guys, now that you know why it was a deal for us and why we were willing to buy this house subject to, I want you guys to understand how easy it is to do a deal like this. We literally didn't use any of our own credit. Nobody ever verified my bank income. Nobody ever pulled my credit. Nobody ever even looked at my W-2, my tax returns, nothing. I simply used a title company, Title Alliance of Phoenix, to transfer title and deed into my company name, and we set up a servicing company to make the payments to Carol and Larry's old mortgage on their behalf. I became responsible for that mortgage. Just like if I used the Burr method or I bought a rental property using my own loan, I would be responsible for paying that loan. In this situation, Carol and Larry stayed on the loan and I took ownership of the property. So not only do I get the benefit of buying a cash flowing property, but I also get the benefit of tax depreciation, tax write-offs, etc., without ever having to qualify for a loan. So we've already gone through how we met the seller. We texted them through batch leads. We were persistent for 7 months until I was able to meet the seller right here in the living room. We utilized Subject To purchase this property. And if you guys look it up online, you'll see that we are the owners of this house. We didn't use any of our own credit. We used Title Alliance of Phoenix, who handles these types of transactions. And we also used Rochelle Jarvis from Constant Close to handle the transaction paperwork. Guys, this was an easy transaction. So much so that the seller, Carol, has sent me multiple texts saying, oh my gosh, pinch me. Is this real? They got their cash in hand. We solved their problem when nobody else could in a year and a half. Now, what I want to talk about last is how we are making money here. What is our exit strategy? What are we doing to make money on this property? And what is our ultimate game plan for the long term? So if you've been following the Real Deal episodes for the last 8 months, you know that our primary exit strategy was lease options. We are now recently venturing into Section 8 rentals because we understand that Section 8 is a government-ran program that guarantees our rents. We have not had any issues during COVID-19 with our tenants paying any payments, but ultimately, as we grow, we want a little bit more safety and a little bit more guarantee. So the second reason we chose to utilize Section 8 on this property is because we actually get more than market rent. So the market rent on this property is $2,200. What we're ultimately going to get from Section 8 is $2,500 from a guaranteed government program. So a lot of people will talk about Section 8, and we'll do more and more videos specifically about what Section 8 is all about, but people talk about Section 8 and the bad part of it. But our experience has been that all of our Section 8 tenants are on a voucher system, and if they lose their voucher system, they don't have a home. How do they keep that voucher is also how they take care of the home that they're living in. So we feel like sometimes our Section 8 tenants take more care of our property than the non-Section 8 tenants do. So our exit strategy here is Section 8. We already have somebody approved and moving in next week that the government will be paying $2,500 for. Our mortgage is $930 a month. So you tell me, do you think Subject To is the way to go? All right, guys, that does it for 9340 Des Moines in Mesa, Arizona. If you got value, please make a comment down below. Please help us out on the algorithm. And more important, if you have curiosities or questions about the process of how to buy a property using no credit, none of your own cash, etc., If you have questions about the renovation and how we made this house look the way it currently looks, then make a comment down below. My team reads those, we make future videos with those, and we help you guys in your process along the way. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to share with you guys a link down below with the testimonial from Larry and Carol of exactly how they felt after we closed escrow on this property. We'll see you in the next Real Deal episode.